Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home, Cheryl Casoni, The Federalist editor-in-chief and Fox News contributor, Molly Hemingway, and Fox & Friends Weekend co-host, Pete Hegseth. We begin with new developments in the Biden family's shady business dealings and the media's apparent refusal to cover or investigate the many scandals surrounding the president's family. The broadcast networks did not spend 1 minute covering the House Republicans' bombshell report on the Bidens and their business associates. Incredible. And now a media watchdog group is also exposing how the legacy media hasn't given attention to nearly a dozen Biden-related scandals. We'll scroll them now, including this week's charges that the Biden family received more than $10 million from foreign nationals, the CIA intelligence letter that falsely claimed Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, the new FBI whistleblower claims that then Vice President Biden took bribes during the Obama years, and many more. But not a single minute of coverage by major networks. Harris, this is to be expected. I love how Jonathan Turley put it with regards to the money angle. Every generation got cash. Only Bidens that didn't seem to get the cash were the pets.
He's the most powerful man in our country and in the free world. And so he deserves to have attention put on whatever is going on. And look, if Republicans now, and I said this actually to Chairman James Comer, who's putting all of this together through House Oversight, the American people need to start to see now the connection between this president, when he was vice president, and the $10 million. Now we're in double digits of millions. That were basically laundried when you look at the bank receipts. We need to start to see that, because otherwise it sounds more like rhetoric as we enter a 2024 year. And so now we wait to cover that part of the story, which Comer and others have said, leadership, GOP leadership say they have more and more. And plus they have 2 whistleblowers now. I mean, it is piling up. But Comer has said all along, I'm not going to present until I can give you a whole picture.
That's right. He's issued 4 subpoenas to banks. He was on with me last night, Pete, and I asked him, are you going to subpoena the Bidens? And if not, will you hold them in contempt of Congress? Listen to what he said. You will subpoena them.
More than likely, if they refuse to come, what we're doing is trying to get all the evidence first to where if we subpoena them and they refuse to come, then we can win in court. It's all about winning in court. And we have a lot more leverage today because we went the back door and subpoenaed the banks. They were expecting us to subpoena the Bidens on day one. We would have gotten nothing.
If you subpoena them, so that makes sense. Your strategy makes sense. Will you hold them in contempt of Congress?
I absolutely want to do that. That'll be Speaker McCarthy's call.
So it sounds like they're ready to subpoena and hold in contempt potentially.
And they should. The connection that needs to be made, part of the reason the media can rationalize not covering it is they don't have the smoking gun of Joe Biden specifically getting a payment from this payment.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Even though we see all the signs everywhere, the big guy, the 10%, it's in the laptop, it's all there. That's their excuse. And it is staggering. It's not just that they're spinning on behalf of the Bidens. This study we're talking about here from Newsbusters is from April 24th to May 11th. So it's almost 3 weeks.
Amazing.
Morning news, evening news, and Sunday shows of
and
ABC,
overnight, 24 hours.
and CBS refused to cover 1 minute from any of those stories at all. So unless you're watching alternative media or Fox or listening to talk radio, you have no idea. Absolutely no idea that the walls are closing in, that this subpoena will matter with the Bidens. And that's just a disservice to a public who are supposed to know everything about candidates, say, in a year and a half. And he says he's running.
Molly,
You don't think people watch a mix of stuff? They've got social media.
Maybe.
maybe. Heavily censored.
It's just but
wild.
it's the lack of the zero journalistic integrity. I mean, to say we're not even going to cover it at all tells us exactly what we know about these outlets. I think people are smarter than those outlets and they find information elsewhere. And that's why Biden's numbers are so low. But it's once again an indictment of these so-called media companies.
They sure found a lot of time, Cheryl, to cover George Santos. Interestingly, I mean, I'm a big believer now in the deep state because we found out a CIA current officer was soliciting signatures for that 51 intel letter that covered for Hunter Biden. But is it coincidence that the George Santos charges against a freshman congressman came down as Comer's doing his press conference? It's almost as if the DOJ gave a pass to CNN and MSNBC. Cover this breaking news over here. Don't look at this one.
Yeah, no, and I think many that were watching that unfold this week thought the exact same thing. timing is everything. Isn't it interesting that Santos is now the focus and not Hunter Biden, in particular, this investigation by James Comer? You know, the media is following the best way to protect President Biden. They've been protecting him from the beginning for a multitude of things, whether it's the economy, whether it's his health, and, you know, on down. But I think what's really interesting here is back to that LLC conversation about the banks. I mean, there are more banks that Comer's talking to. There's maybe 11 more that he's actually been getting records from. Look, money doesn't lie. The money trail doesn't lie. And once you get a forensic accountant to go through and find the pathway of the LLCs, which are very, very complicated, easy to disguise entities, but once that comes out, you cannot ignore the facts, and the bank records are facts. This is not conjecture. This is not opinion. This is not even political at this point. This is, here's what happened. The other thing that I see the media doing is protecting Hunter Biden because they don't want to talk about frankly, his state during these years when he was, you know, allegedly doing the influence peddling. Nobody wants to talk about the prostitutes. Nobody wants to talk about the drug use, even though he wrote a whole book saying, I was a very messed up man. They focused on his redemption. But what about all the things that he did, some of which could be illegal during the time when he was, frankly, having a lot of personal issues?
Yeah,
putting that politely, I think.
I wouldn't want to talk about those issues either if I were him. Molly, this FBI form, this FD 1023 we learned about, which apparently outlines, they say it's unverified. Let me just put that out there. The government does. But they say it outlines a scheme between Biden receiving money and him giving public policy decisions. So I asked both Jim Comer and Jim Jordan, you know, hey, guys, have you heard, is DOJ investigating this? They have the document as political appointees, Merrick Garland, or is the special counsel doing this? And James Comer said, we have no answer. We're completely in the dark. Grassley, who's worked with DOJ, FBI for decades, completely in the dark. They say just trust them. Do you trust the DOJ and the special counsel?
Yeah, it's amazing that when Senator Grassley, who could not be more respected in how he handles whistleblowers, and Representative Comer asked for information about how the FBI was handling this document, Christopher Wray said, I'm not going to tell you. This is an unbelievable response to a very serious issue, because you look at these like bigger topics. During the Trump era, we had a completely unsubstantiated, made up claim that Donald Trump had stolen the 2016 election by colluding with Russia. Hillary Clinton's campaign made that up. They bought and paid for that. Our FBI weaponized that. They used that to undermine the administration, even though it was completely without merit. And now you have, on the other hand, this report that there was a credible claim of bribery involving the current president. And all that Grassley and Comer want to know is, what did you do with this piece of information? Did you, like the Russia collusion hoax, spring up a special counsel and a dramatic investigation, or did you ignore it? And Christopher Wray is saying, I'm not going to tell you. That's unacceptable. We have a very serious problem, not just with the FBI, but the entire intelligence community, how they've become so politicized, how they protect their friends, how they destroy the lives of anyone who threatens their political aims. This is a threat to the republic, and our media are a big part of it.
And they're protecting Antony Blinken, too. I just want to add here, it's not just the Biden family, it's Antony Blinken as well. They're definitely protecting.
You remember all the headlines on the Trump stuff, the New York Times. This is the New York Times headline on Comer.
Yeah.
House Republican report finds no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden.
I mean,
that's the headline.
That's government propaganda. That is government propaganda. Correct. From the Gray Lady.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.